Alright, we're back on this guy. If you don't remember the last video, there's a thing that will thing right. This is the Sylvania top loader from 1983. I've just opened it up and started cleaning the inside and realized how bad of a shape this is actually in. You can see all the little specks of rust starting on the chassis, and it was just full of dust and dirt and hair, pet hair, and I found a human hair wedged in the video drum. It's making a slapping sound against the tape, and I pulled out like a 4 or 5 inch human hair. So I've just been going through Q-tips and isopropyl alcohol, cleaning it up, and wanted to assess where we're at with this. So here's my poor tape. This little flap goes up. You gotta push from there. There we go. So just to remember, rewind works, fast forward works, and here's where I'm at with play. The idler is sort of working, but still needs replacement. But the mechanism that slides this pinch roller into place is not moving very well. Watch this pinch roller move. Come on, focus. Yeah, whatever. And it's not actually pulling the tape. If I go and hold it in place, now it's working. You can see that the idler tire is not doing so well. Ooh, yep, there's my tape. So I tried just getting a little bit of oil on this to try and make it move freer, but I don't think that's going to be enough. So I'm going to take this whole piece out, clean it, and lube it, because this should be pushing with pretty good tension onto there. And I cleaned this pinch roller. It's still pretty supple. It's not great, but it should be good enough to play. And by me pushing this arm onto there, it seems to play fine, or at least move the tape. Once I'm done that, then I have an extra idler tire that goes here, so I'm just going to replace this all together. Because yeah, that could be problematic. Yeah, first step. Actually, you know what? Let's see if I even get any picture out of this. I despite how dirty this is, I went and cleaned the transport and all the heads and everything. Spotless. That is the one thing that was clean in this machine. Everything else was disgusting, but the tape transport was clean. So, yeah, I guess. Well, I got a picture. Oh. Yeah. Okay. So, at least I have a picture. Sounds like I have sound. It's just the movement of the tape that I need to work on. Let's pull this arm out. Ooh boy. There was a lot of gunk inside here. Kind of looks like rust. I used a bunch of rubbing alcohol to kind of clean this out best I could. It's a lot smoother now. There's one little nick. You can kind of see there. I don't know if that'll affect it. But I cleaned that, and I cleaned, this is the shaft that it sits on. So it should be able to move a lot more freely now once I grease it and put it all back together. This may not look like it, That's progress. So I got tension here now. Look at this. All this grease is completely dried up. So I've got that. The old tire removed, which actually feels pretty good. I'm going to compare it to the new one. Hopefully that's the right size. It's supposed to be the right size. Maybe it's not. Got the new tire on. This one that I was looking at is actually for that small tire, which is in excellent shape. And even this old one is actually pretty good. I think the problem was less the rubber on the tire. I mean, it's still a little smooth. This one's still better, the new one. But I think the problem was more just the idler being able to move from side to side. So I'm just going to start lubricating and greasing everything that needs it. The path for the tape guides is awful. They kind of chunk along there, so clean all this, lube it. Alright, before I put this back together, I want to show what I did. I had to take this arm out again. When I took this out to lubricate it, should have replaced this tire at the same time. This whole arm kind of articulates and is held on here by a circlip. Got to remove all these little brackets. This is the bracket for the deuce sensor. That's the bracket for the tape end sensor. And there's a little plastic arm that goes down and touches another arm that goes here. So when you pull this out, that arm is going to spring load, I think this way, and no, it'll spring load this way. And you have to get a screwdriver and pull it over and then push this down. So I have this back in, had the spring reattached. I also kind of lubed up underneath. This slides along a little metal piece, so I lubricated that. Time to put everything back together. See if the take-up works now. I think on this model it looks like this idler, or this tire, pulls in and runs from the capstan to the take-up reel. And I'm wondering if this might only be used for fast forward and rewind. I'll have to see. Well, progress has been made, but further progress is required. Both those tires have been replaced. I had to tighten the screw that holds this tire in, or tighten the spring that holds this tire in. You had to give it a little nudge, or it would sometimes jump around and squeal. It wasn't quite getting enough tension. I think that spring was just fatigued. But now the tape doesn't go in very well because it's missing the front flap that has a nice little angle on the front where this thing goes. So rewind. It's working great. Now those sounds that you hear from the tape fast forwarding and rewinding, that's because I have eaten the crap out of this. Because this pinch roller, I was wrong about it. Now that I did a closer inspection, it is smooth as hell. Tried cleaning it the best I can. It is shiny. I don't know why the camera is showing that, but it is just like polished, shiny. So I'm gonna turn on the squeal-o-matic. My apologies. Hit play. And what's happening, you can see the tape's all eaten. I had a picture for a while. Look at that. Look at how far down that is on the head. Let me get some better lighting. Look at that. It's completely missing the top of the head. And if you look down here, The tape is rubbing against the bottom of the cassette cartridge. See, it's just pinching it there. So this either needs to be replaced or restored. And I can't buy Rubber Renew because the only place locally that sells it is closed for obvious reasons. And if I want to buy it online, it's 3 times the price. Oh. Fast forward scan. That is the best rewind scan that you're going to get out of this thing. And when you're in SP mode, it's almost like slow motion. God, that TV's awful. Oh, you're getting shut off here. News. The tuner works. So I tuned in some TV channels. It says the same style tuner as that Panasonic I showed a while ago. You select VHF low, so VHF low is 2 to 6, VHF high 7 to 13, UHF 14 to, I believe this will be, oh yeah, right here, 83. It's old enough to have the full UHF band. And there we go. Oop. Come on down. There we go. The rest is just picking up garbled FM stations. I was wondering why this was jamming up and not playing, and then I realized I haven't put this piece back in yet. And this is the piece that pulls this flap open. But I didn't realize that because my test tape has been butchered so much it's missing the flap. Deuce sensors back in. Tape flippy flapper is back in. It's flippy flapping. Good news is it's playing SLP.
It wouldn't have happened without you.
Well, we make a great team. So, I am going to sing along.
Whatever this junk is here. Let's see if I can get lined up a little better. It's like the video head's not lined up properly. The tape's playing fine. Usually with these pinch rollers, if you play at the beginning of the tape, it's got a better chance than at the end.
Yay! Oh, wow, it's like a sweaty piñata.
Oh. Hey, my iPod!
Oh, yeah, my pirate.
Interesting. So,
Why are you smiling?
it's got pretty decent sound for SLP. Nice linear audio, which is what I remember one of the few redeeming features of this. But look at that pause. This is SLP on a 2-head. It should be fairly clear. And seems to be better fast forwarding. Same thing rewinding. And it comes and goes. Sometimes it's a little better.
I have good days and bad days. Plus, I don't want to spend our entire...
And sometimes it loses it completely. Oh, you know, can't deal with that noise. I'll record a little bit on SLP for a while. Turn that down so I don't get a strike. Switch to LP. The forgotten speed. And SP. Well, looks like this problem exists on its own recordings too.
Oftentimes in life there are problems.
But again, that audio.
And there are solutions.
That's SLP. Yeah, it's recording bad too. Alright, I feel dumb. This is the brake for the supply reel that keeps the tension on the tape that I pulled out and then forgot about. And that's probably my issue. Because look at this. Look how soft that is. Nothing. It's got some tension by the time it gets here. But yeah, it's just... Now the hard question is, I hate these little circlips. I hate them. Half the time I either break them or I lose them. I've already lost one of the metal ones and broken one of the other metal ones. But I think I need to take this out in order to properly glue it. I don't have a tool small enough for these. This is the smallest one I have and it won't fit.
Day 2.
It wasn't a tough accident. Somersville, Ohio is not exactly the center of the universe, of course, but it's a nice, quiet little place. Regarding Mrs. Carlisle, did give me the time to take the flight from now.
Look at that tension.
Great. Of course, now I am hoping for a little more after the sun.
This brake is working now, but it's not working perfectly. Ideally, I'd replace this with a new one instead of gluing it back together. But that proves that this thing is still functional after many years. I'm gonna source out a new pinch roller and brake band. I have all the rest of the belts as replacements, but they don't seem to be a problem. The belts on the lower side all seem to be working fine. Let's try an SLP recording. I'm gonna fast forward past all those recordings I did earlier.
Only this weekend, only at Rona. Rona, doing it right.
Play with the tracking a little bit.
Television news.
Your connection to the issues you care about in your community.
Needs more tension.
I mean, why? Do you want to cut off your leg just to go back to the war? Don't you have family?
Holding it there gets better,
Family who don't know you.
and releasing it gets worse. So this actually needs
Yeah, you maybe even know that.
even more tension than it's getting right now. Quick summary of everything that I've done and where I'm leaving this for now. Cleaned all the inside, lubricated the rails for the tape guides, lubed up the back side of this tire, replaced the tire, tightened the spring, oiled this part of the arm for the pinch roller, replaced the tire for fast forward and rewind on the idler, glued the brake felt pad back in, cleaned all the heads. Video head had a little bit of dirt, but otherwise everything was spotless. And where I'm leaving off, pinch roller needs to be replaced. It's causing some tape chewing still. The tension, while better, is not perfect, so ideally I want to see if I can source a new brake band, because that's pretty critical. But at least it's playing tapes now, somewhat reasonably. I've proven that everything else on here seems to be working okay. It's just mechanical deterioration, entropy.
The most modern and ancient of traditions,
The gesture of gift-giving defines one's purest desire. Celebrate life with 800 Gift Line. We make the gift as glorious as the moment.